First Merchants Bank, helping you prosper.
Put it in the upper right-hand corner just like a postage stamp. That's a good bingo.
Get ready to learn more about the Columbus Blue Jackets players and coaches, as well as find out what's going on this week in the NHL. Now let's join Bob McElligott and Jody Shelley for the Inside Edge, presented by First Merchants Bank.
The Blue Jackets are still alive in the Eastern Conference playoff race in the National Hockey League. Why is that? Very simple. They just continue to win. The Blue Jackets winning their fifth in a row last night, a 3-0 shutout in Philadelphia over the Flyers. And Jody Shelley, in the first period of that game, I had no idea where it was going. Early in the second period, I had no idea where it was going. But the Blue Jackets locked themselves in. They got a couple of goals. Then they just locked it down in the third period. It's another great win for this team.
You know, just like the season is 82 games long, not 80, not 75. It's 82 games long. A game is 60 minutes long. And I think the Blue Jackets have figured that out. And, boy, when you have a goaltender like Jack Greaves right now, who's in the middle of a zone, a high-end zone, it enables you to stay in games and find what you need to do, and that's exactly what happens on the road. You see every building you go to on the road, there's a push. And when you have the goaltender that can make the save and weather the storm, guess what? You find your game, find your footing, and get those wins. So it's been remarkable to see what they've done. Yes, they've won, but also why they're in the playoffs, Montreal has not grabbed it. They have had 4 opportunities to put this away. They haven't done it. And for the Blue Jackets, well, right now, while this show is on, that game is on, and all eyes will be on what's happening there, because if they lose that game in regulation tonight, the Blue Jackets have a chance tomorrow night to get into the playoffs.
Crazy. Absolutely crazy. By the way, Jet Greaves is going to be on the show, so make sure you stay tuned for that, because he's as good at talking as he is as a goalie. You got to get him warmed up a little bit, but I'll get him warmed up and get him going. But anyway, yeah, Montreal, they're missing their opportunities. And look, here they go. They've got another chance. But there's got to be a lot of questions in the minds of players right now, right? With every shift or every puck that bounces off your stick, you start. Look, we've seen it when the Blue Jackets went through that 6-game losing streak. They had good moments, but they weren't winning games, and now it's happening the same the other way. It's got to creep into your mind, right?
Oh, 100%, especially in that market. I mean, it doesn't matter what market. You're right. When it's a bad goal, a bounce the other way, a power play that doesn't work, anything that you think or see in the game that's like, oh, boy, it's not going to go tonight, it eats at you. But when you're in Montreal, you're under a microscope that could probably see Mars. It's that strong. And everything you do, they know everything about these players. They have their own lines. They have who should start. They have why this guy wasn't on this power play. This guy didn't play. It's incredible how engaged they are with this team in Montreal. And I was there on Monday for the Monday night game, and the pressure was off the charts. And they were 4 ahead of the Blue Jackets. Well, guess what? That's ramped up today. And so, yeah, I don't know what to expect tonight, but I don't know how the Montreal Canadiens win tonight.
Carolina Hurricanes are their competition. Some people have said to me, remember what happened when Carolina came in here at the end of the year last year and they were resting guys and the Blue Jackets blew them out even though they were not a good team last year? And I go, so what? That was then. This is now. Look, Carolina's got their own kind of pressure too, because they've gotten into the playoffs every year and they haven't gone deep. And now they've got a new general manager who is trying to put his stamp on the team based on what he has done and his different approach to things. Rod Brind'Amour wants to go into the playoffs on a win and with some positivity, and he would probably enjoy getting the win against Montreal.
Well, you know what? I think that there is an element to their game tonight with 4 call-ups that he's going to be watching them closely because of there is injury. There are players that are going to be needed to be available, so they're playing for that. His son is going to be playing, so that's interesting. I think he's more concerned about the process. If Montreal is going to win, they have to beat them. He's not going to get a team prepared tonight to come in and just play the game. He's going to have his players playing a certain way, and that they always do. They throw a lot of pucks at the net. There's not going to be a lot of time and space in the middle of the ice for the Montreal Canadiens. And he's more worried about the process. Players making the right decisions, not just going out there and playing a hockey game. They have nothing to prove in this game. Their proving is starting on Saturday. So there is that element for the Montreal Canadiens. They can push the Carolina Hurricanes maybe out easier than the Carolina Hurricanes can be pushed out of the game next week. But guys like Roslovic, dangerous in games like this, not much on the line. He's going to be having fun. It's a great environment. That's the other thing being Montreal. The other team, the opposition, feeds off the environment.
Oh, yeah.
When you can get the fans to turn and boo their home team, warm up, it starts with the electricity. Everybody, the broadcasters, the fans, everybody, you feel it. It's exciting.
Yeah, and right from warm-ups, you're right. That's where it begins, and you're right. The pressure gets on. When they start to falter, you can feel it in the building. There's no doubt about it. I was listening. I was driving the other day, and I was listening to that game in the first period, and I had the Chicago broadcast on, and it was so loud that it was drowned out. I couldn't hear what they were saying half the time. And
did you listen to the third period?
No, I didn't.
You would have heard the broadcaster. It was not as loud.
Well, I believe you. But that's exactly is the example of what we're talking about right there. And as a player, you can feel it, right? I mean, we always talk about how the crowd gets behind you and you grab that energy, but it goes both ways.
Yeah, and you're going to see a game tonight that the Montreal Canadiens are going to try to jump this and start the game with trying to win the game. You'll see a shift in this game at some point to try to tie it. Play for the tie, because that's all they need.
Could you believe what you were watching the other night, especially when it goes to the shootout, the way that whole thing went down? Is there a goal? Is there not a goal? And then the last puck coming off the post, straight up in the air, landing behind the goalie and not going in?
I mean, it's eerie what's gone on. I couldn't believe it, and it's just incredible to see the bounces the Blue Jackets have gotten. It's hard to put words into this whole season with how it started and just how the players have dealt with it, how they've come together again, and now to see where they're at. I do believe in divine intervention, and you have to question some of the things that have gone on, because there is a spirit about the group here, but there's also something else going on. It's crazy, right?
Yes.
When you look at these things that have gone on with the Blue Jackets and now the Montreal Canadiens, I just, being around this team, you feel their drive that they're playing for Johnny and Matthew Gaudreau all year, and it's a real thing. You feel it in the group, and boy, it's brought them to somewhere that's really incredible this year.
Yeah, it absolutely has. And then you have a situation where, look at Adam Fantilli. Adam Fantilli has 4 goals in 2 games against Washington. His grandfather passed away. Very, quiet about it. He leaves the team after the Sunday game, flies back home to Ontario, and as he said last night, buried my grandfather and got on a plane and went back to Philadelphia and put up his 30th goal of the year last night. So there's a lot of stuff going on that is not a head scratcher. It's fun to be around and fun to be a part of, but you look at it and you say, how did that happen?
And Monahan scored the first goal of the season in the first game for Johnny Gaudreau and pointed to the banner. And Fantilli's grandfather's favorite team was the Flyers. Mm-hmm. So, it's amazing how the stars align. And Fantilli, you always look at a season and see the evolution of a player or the steps of players. And there's a list of them with this organization this season. But how he took steps forward, steps backwards, and then took more steps forwards has been incredible. And he's in the right situation right now. He's getting out there with a veteran in Van Riemsdyk who quietly makes the right play, and then Kent Johnson, who finds Fantilli as well. Last night it was Marchenko. But also credit Fantilli, he knows his skill set. Like last night he broke for the puck. Marchenko made a good play to throw it. He's trying to go to Voronkov, but he was in the right area. That's how you score. So it's been fun to watch how this is a young kid who has size, speed, skill, and loves the big moment. Loves the big moment. Well, guess what? Tomorrow night could be the biggest moment we've seen in this franchise. Maybe, well, in a regular season, maybe of all time.
Yeah. No.
With how it's gone down. So these guys are excited. You know, you could tell yesterday after they watched that Montreal loss on Monday, they were excited. I mean, we all were.
Yeah.
You know, and then they went out and played that game, and the star was Jet Greaves. And tomorrow night, who's going to be the star? And I just hope it counts for something. We all do.
Yes, there's no doubt about it. Well, speaking of stars and Jet Greaves, I had a chance to catch up with Jet earlier today, and I'll have that conversation coming to you next as the Inside Edge presented by First Merchants Bank continues here on 97.1 The Fan.
Big voice guy here to remind you that you're listening to The Fan, Ohio sports destination. Okay, thanks. I have 3 more seconds. Bye-bye.
That's are us. When dreams sunk in, that's are us.
Right now, get $1,500 off a shower or tub replacement or $3,000 off a full bathroom remodel, plus low to no monthly payments. Call 380-225-BATH to schedule your free estimate or go to bathsareus.com. 380-225-BATH.
That's are us. When dreams sunk in, that's are us.
If you're 55 and up, T-Mobile has plans built just for you. 2 lines of unlimited for just $30 a line. That's a 45% savings compared to Verizon and AT&T. But don't just take our word for it.
It's not just the savings that are great with our T-Mobile plan. There's all this value from all these other things that T-Mobile offers.
T-Mobile has been such a savings for us.
We love it.
Switch today and get 2 free 5G phones like the Motorola Edge with Turbo Power charging that gives you power for the day in just 15 minutes. And customers 55 and up can get 2 lines of talk, text, and data for only $30 a line. Go to T-Mobile.com/choice55 to learn more. With 24 monthly bill credits and 2 new lines with autopay for well-qualified customers plus taxes, fees, and $35 per line connection charge. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. Contact us plus $5 per line without autopay. Debit or bank account required. 45% off 2 lines versus AT&T Starter and Verizon Welcome. Plan benefits vary. See details at T-Mobile.com. Motorola Edge requires 68-watt charger. Charger sold separately. Actual performance will vary based on usage and configuration.
I've had a number of surgeries, and frankly, I don't have time to rehab a surgery and an operation at this point in my life. I didn't want to take time off my kids' activities.
That's why former college and pro football player Bobby Carpenter turned to QC Kinetics. We couldn't be happier saving our patients like him from operating rooms and long recoveries.
They will resume like normal activity for me, which is a lot of running. It's a lot of workouts. I've been very, very blessed with how it's been able to hold up.
For so long, patients have accepted surgery as the only solution. But with new technologies, the medical professionals at QC Kinetics use regenerative treatments, your body's own biologics, to help heal and restore knees, hips, shoulders, and backs.
I actually ran into a friend of mine over at our golf course, and he had his knee done. It felt so well. He'd got his shoulder done. He goes, I can't thank you enough. He'd heard the commercial on the air, and so it's feeling great.
Find out how you can avoid surgery and finally get relief. Call QC Kinetics now for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 380-208-4544. That's 380-208-4544. 380-208-4544.
Can't get enough of your favorite fan content? Good news, we're on all the digitals. Follow 971 The Fan on X, Facebook, YouTube, The Talk, and Gram. Your digital home for endless shenanigans. The Fan.
Everyone deserves a fast and reliable connection. One that helps better their everyday through the things they value most. Friends and family, education and career. A connection that opens pathways to opportunity and builds roads to a better future. At Spectrum, we're committed to delivering just that every single day. Because with the right connection, anything is possible. That's Life Unlimited. That's Spectrum.
The great thing about Atlas Butler is they do it all. Heating, cooling, plumbing. Look, I'm busy with work. I don't have time to wait around or deal with lots of people. One company, one call, and they do it all. Wonder if they'll clean out my inbox. Seriously, offer that service. Please.
Atlas Butler is at your service. Call 1-800-FURNACE.
Let's talk interest rates. Not that kind of interest. I mean interest in you. At First Merchants Bank, we are 100% interested in your success. Our bankers provide a level of attentiveness unlike any other. We're here to get to know you and to be a helpful partner in your financial success. Aren't you tired of your bank just saying they care about your business? Make the switch to First Merchants Bank and feel the difference of real, honest interest in you. First Merchants Bank. For a better banking experience, visit firstmerchants.com/switch, helping you prosper.
You hear that crunch? It's not just any crunch. It's cheesy to the edge crust that only comes from a Jets Detroit-style pizza. Hand-pressed dough topped with premium mozzarella, the freshest ingredients, and ladled with Mama Jet's secret sauce. Then baked to perfection in steel pans born on Motor City lines. I bet you're real hungry now. Go ahead. Visit jetspizza.com for daily hot deals. Jets. Better because it has to be.
Bread Financial is proud to be the official financial services partner of your Columbus Blue Jackets. They provide simple, personalized payment, lending, and savings solutions. From the Bread Cashback American Express credit card to high-yield savings and CDs to buy now, make that score now, pay later options, you'll find financial solutions for your budget and your goals, hockey or otherwise. Learn more at breadfinancial.com. And let's go Blue Jackets.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Bright, breezy, and dry, albeit a little cool on this Wednesday. Temperatures in the mid-50s. Overnight will fall back down to the 30s, and that means some patchy frost, mainly in the outlying areas. During the day, mostly to partly sunny skies, light winds, and a warmer finish, back in the mid-60s. With your 10 weather impact forecast, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jerry Martz on The Fan.
You're listening to The Inside Edge.
Sponsored by Visit Central Florida.
Here's Bob McElligott and Jody Shelley.
Welcome back to The Inside Edge, presented by First Merchants Bank. I'm Bob McElligott, and I am joined right now by, look, it's just fair to say this is the man of the hour. Well, he was the man of the week in the National Hockey League last week, the number one star of the week, as he had 3 wins, one of them a shutout. And now guess what? He has another shutout in the first game of this week. Goaltender Jet Greaves is with me here on the Inside Edge. And I got to ask you, are you even a little bit surreal about what's going on for you right now? Because 1 week ago today, you were playing in a 1-goal win for the Cleveland Monsters over the Grand Rapids Griffins. The next day, you drove to Columbus, and now here you are right in the middle. Not even in the middle. I mean, this is a playoff race that you're either going to be in or out by end of tonight, end of tomorrow night. And what's it been like for you?
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. Obviously, things happen fast in this business, but it's been awesome just to be part of this experience with the guys. Obviously, playing such important games. We're always really grateful to be in that situation, so I've been enjoying it.
I was watching that game last Wednesday night and watched you guys got out that win over Grand Rapids. And did you know that there was a call coming the next day, or were you completely surprised?
No, I didn't know anything about it at that time.
So you were just like, all right.
Yeah, I was just trying to play and just trying to help the Monsters win a hockey game.
Get your stuff, grab your bag, get in the car and go, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And then, like, coming in here, did they tell you were going to start when they?
Once I knew I was coming here, once I knew I was called up, then I knew I was going to start. Yeah.
Okay, so at least you could. I don't know if you normally prepare by driving 2 hours for a start, but you had all that time to kind of just get locked in, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Funny thing about you is, I want to ask you about getting locked in, because what does it take for you? Because your nature about the way you carry yourself is always so relaxed, and I just like, does the heartbeat ever go up for you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm human at the end of the day. Obviously, there's different moments, but for me, I just feel comfortable being relaxed and just enjoying the moments, enjoying playing the game. I mean, it's just so fun to be out there competing and trying to win hockey games. So.
Yeah, so you go from one playoff race to another, right? And here's the thing. I know that you've said many times you have kind of, you have your Columbus deal and your Cleveland deal, and you separate them. But do you also watch what your buddies are doing in Cleveland to see? Because they're in the midst of that playoff race, too. I think they have a big game tonight.
Yeah, no, they do. They got a big game in Rochester there. I've definitely been talking to those guys, just kind of checking in, seeing how they're doing, and just kind of, keeping that contact for sure. So definitely keeping an eye on what they're up to.
And is it weird in any way, shape, or form for you? Because, I mean, they've been your guys most of the year. And like you said, a week ago, you're trying to help them get into the playoffs, get you as a group into the playoffs. And now you're not part of it. But here you're doing the exact same thing. So I guess you don't. don't feel what word? You don't feel bad. I mean, you don't feel bad that you're deserting them because you're jumping right back into the fire here, and of course, it's a National Hockey League.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. For me, I'm just happy wherever I am. I think that's the biggest thing. Is just I always say just being where my feet are. So when I'm there, just trying to do whatever I can to help the Monsters win hockey games. And then when I'm here, just trying to help the Blue Jackets. And obviously, if I'm here, I'm cheering for the Monsters. And when I'm in Cleveland, I'm cheering for the Jackets. But
what has been the most kind of surreal thing to you here in the last couple of days? I mean, you know, a lot of people made a big deal about the fact you played 4 games in 5 days. Obviously, it didn't affect you whatsoever because you got 4 wins in 5 days. But has there been any moments here over the course of these last couple of games where you're like, wow, I didn't have this on my radar right now?
That's a good question.
Well, I get paid to ask a good question.
Yeah. I honestly haven't thought about it too much. I think for me right now, it's just about being in the moment, just being grounded where my feet are, and just, again, like I always say, just trying to win hockey games, like just enjoying playing and enjoying what's coming with each day.
And I know when you say that, you're genuine. Of course, I can see you right now in it, but I've talked to you enough to know how genuine that is. And I think a great example of all of that was the game in Washington on Sunday, when Alex Ovechkin scores a minute and 10 seconds into the game. It's a must-win game. All of a sudden, you're down. You just come off a huge victory the day before. But it's this kind of attitude and this kind of calmness that all your teammates talk about that they can really feed off of. And is it tough at times to keep that calmness, or is that just the guy that you are, and that's the way it is?
I think, obviously there are different moments where, you might have to work a little bit harder, but I think it's just understanding that controlling what you control is just what's going to put yourself and the team in the best position to have success. So just staying grounded in each moment, I think, is always, the biggest thing, and just enjoying whatever's coming.
It's actually ironic because of the games that you played. The only goal that you really gave up, or in the last couple of games, is that one to Ovechkin. If somebody's going to score against you, it's probably, I'd probably put my money on him. Sorry, but as a goalie, if he's going to score on you, well, you're just on a long list, right?
Yeah, no, obviously he scored, the most goals ever in the National Hockey League, so it's, it's definitely an interesting one there. Obviously, he made a really good shot, and, he's the best goal scorer ever, so I have obviously so much respect for him.
And when he scores that goal, that place is electric. It is on fire, because a lot of those people, I'm sure, bought those tickets hoping to see him break that record, but they're there, and he gets a goal, he's adding to his totals, and at that moment, it's kind of out of control. And you guys, not just you, but all of your teammates as well, you were able to take all of that energy, kind of tamp it all down, and just get back to playing hockey. How impressed are you with the way the guys in front of you are playing right now?
Yeah, the guys have been awesome. Yeah, like you said, I think that moment, just having a good response from the guys. Ollie had that fight. I think it was right after. That was, got some momentum our way, and then Z scored a big goal. He's been here all year, just in those moments and just calming the guys down. That's just the presence that he has. So I think the guys have been doing a great job, and the follow up and the response after that early goal in Washington, and just how the guys have been playing the last couple games has been awesome.
Talking with Jet Greaves, Blue Jackets goaltender. You mentioned the fight that Matthew Olivier had in that game. Let's go back to that Saturday afternoon game when you want to talk about fights in the Washington Capitals, and they're dressing a different lineup. There was no Ovechkin in that one, but that was crazy. Like, that took me back to my American Hockey League days, and I know the American Hockey League isn't like 7 fights a night like it used to be, but that was kind of a different and wild experience in its own way to be a part of, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was so much fun. You could just tell from the start of the game, the atmosphere of that game was going to be special. There were obviously, like you said, a lot of Washington fans there that might have thought that, we was going to break the record that night or whatever the situation was. So it was, it's always fun to be in those situations, and the game was super emotional, like you said, really physical. There's some fights and all that. So it's just so fun to be playing in those games.
I got to tell you, what I was worried about in that game is Leo's singing the anthem. And it gets to 2 parts where a lot of people yelled at the word red and a lot of people yelled at the word O. And the reason is there were so many Washington people there. That's what they do in Washington. Red is for the Capitals and the O is for the Baltimore Orioles, right? So I heard that during the anthem, and I thought, oh, there's way too many people here that I don't want here today. And that's the last I heard from any of them. That was it. It was over. They never scored a goal. They had nothing to cheer about, and they just had to slink out of the building that afternoon. So you did a great job.
Oh, thank you. No, it was a really good job by the guys that night. Like you said, it was definitely a unique atmosphere, but it was fun for us to be a part of and just try to do our thing.
What is the atmosphere like? Like every day is something. I asked Dean about this yesterday pregame, and I said, what is it like when the days off are actually full of angst as well because you're waiting to see what happens? And, of course, he blew it off. And he goes, what can we do? We watched the game. What's it like as players, though? Because I know you guys are watching the game. I know you're paying attention to what's going on. I mean, do the off days, like is today, are you going to be nervous with Montreal taking on Carolina today?
We'll definitely be Hurricanes fans today, that's for sure. Yeah, it's just
words never said.
Yeah, no, it's just a lot of fun to be a part of, to be in a race like this. I mean, the games are so tight, and then like you said, when the day is off, we're obviously paying attention and hoping the situation works out in our favor. But it's just a lot of fun to be a part of, and we'll be following the game tonight.
That game last night in Philadelphia, I don't know how you felt being a part of it. Watching it in the first period, I was like, uh-oh. Like, these guys are playing their last home game. They've had not a good season. They don't want to get booed out of the building, which, spoiler alert, they eventually did at the end. But they were flying last night in the first period. It looked like you guys were kind of scrambling to figure out what they were going to do because they weren't really playing with a lot of structure in that first period. What was that first 20 minutes like for you?
I think, you never know how any game's going to be, what the experience is until you're in the game. So just playing and just competing, I think for us, it was just, I think we did a good job of weathering the storm. Like you said, they had a really good start to the game and just come out 0-0, I think. There's it?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
okay, sorry. Hey, believe me, I know they all run together. Like, fans will remember all this stuff, and when us to do it every day, I ask those questions all the time. What day did we play? Where were we? What was the score? So I get it. Go ahead, sorry.
Just to come out 0-0, I think was important for us, just to kind of settle things down, and I felt like we got better as the game went on. I think the guys were really good in the second and the third, so just trying to, handle the storm that comes at the start of the game and just build.
How big was the Fabro goal? And I asked that because I was looking at the faces of everybody as they went to hug him and congratulate him on the goal, and it just looked like relief is not the word that I want to use, but it was like finally something has broken through here.
Yeah, no, I think that was huge for us. Obviously, it was a really tight start to the game, kind of back and forth, and just not really sure which way the game's going to go. So I think that goal obviously was a great shot, got a lot of momentum for us, and we were obviously really excited about that and just set us off on the right foot.
Yeah, and then you get the second goal, and look, it's nice to have a little bit of breathing room, right? But they didn't quit. They kept coming. But what I really liked was the third period, because in the third period, it was obvious what the game plan was. We're going to slow this game down. We're going to make it boring. We're going to force them to go 200 feet. A lot of times you do that in the last couple of minutes. It seems like that was kind of the mindset at the start of the period, just to kill that game and slow them down.
Yeah, I think, winning hockey is boring sometimes, especially, if you have a lead, but I think the guys did a really good job of sticking to that and just keeping the game really simple and making sure they couldn't get to any momentum and try to make a comeback there. Yeah,
I think if you look at that Washington game on Sunday, that was a long and boring game in many stretches. But when you're the road team, you don't mind all those icings and offsides and puck over the glass, right? Because that keeps that home team from being able to get it in a higher gear.
Yeah, exactly. Just, slowing the game down whenever you can in those situations, and just, like I said, winning's boring, so just trusting in that and trusting in, the structure we've built and Dean's put in place, and just trying to do what we can to, hold those leads and win hockey games.
I'm talking with Blue Jackets goaltender Jet Greaves tonight here on the Inside Edge, presented by First Merchants Bank. We'll have more after this on 97.1 The Fan.
Common Man has spent the past 18 years telling you how much he hates people. And yes, that probably means you, too. Common Man and T-Bone.
Weekdays at 3.
The Fan.
Hey, it's Anthony. Of course, I sit and do the show 3 hours a day. But after that, I'm looking to get things done and enjoy the spring weather. So I want to be on my feet a lot, playing golf, working out, just moving around. I was introduced to the Good Feet store because my feet were aching way too often. And what I found there is a 3-step custom arch support system that has me feeling awesome. My personally fit arch supports have helped realign my feet, reposition my body into a more ideal position, and not only that, strengthen my feet to help support me. It's made all the difference in how I feel every day. The Good Feet store is going to help you where you need relief and find the arch supports that work best for you. And when you wear them as a system, their arch supports are more effective at long-term pain reduction and elimination. So go in, take the free test walk. Good Feet arch supports are immediately available. Their products are proudly made in the USA. They're on Polaris Parkway and on Stringtown Road in Grove City or at goodfeet.com.
He shoots, he scores! No matter your sport, it's a great time of year to be a fan. But the fun stops when you or a loved one can't control your gambling. At Maryhaven, we're here to help. Whether it's gambling, drugs, alcohol, or mental health, you don't have to go it alone. With in-person, virtual, and group options, Maryhaven meets you where you are. Always judgment-free. Go to maryhaven.com today. That's maryhaven.com.
I need a small order of sheet metal to repair something in the shop. It's not much, but can you help me out?
At Metal Supermarkets, no order is too small.
Wait, really?
Yep.
What about small home projects?
Yep.
For a car I'm working on?
Yep.
Any kind of metal?
Yep.
Cut to size?
Yep.
With no minimum order?
Yep.
How about 1,000 cut pieces of aluminum flat bar?
Yep. Choose from over 8,000 types, shapes, and grades of metal in any quantity you need. And yes, we're serious. Any metal, any size, ready fast. Locally owned on Wilson Road.
Here at The Fan, we give you 14 hours of live and local programming every day. We care about you. We live and work in your community. Except Bo Bishop. He won't tell us where the hell he is. Your live and local station. Except Bo. The Fan.
Your home is more than just four walls and a roof. It's where life happens, where memories are made, where family gathers, and where you should feel safe. At Newman Roofing, we know that when it's time for a new roof, you want to feel confident that you've hired the right company. One that will install a quality roof and complete the work as promised. But with so many roofing companies out there, how do you know which one to trust? For over 30 years, Newman Roofing has helped more than 7,500 families protect their homes with quality roofing, gutters, and siding. We believe you deserve a company that provides a white glove customer experience, one that pays attention to every detail and treats your home like it's our own. At Newman Roofing, we're not just another roofing company. We're a family-built business that stands behind our work. So when it's time to replace your roof, don't settle for uncertainty. Choose the local family with a reputation for excellence. Choose the company you can trust. Newman Roofing. Call Newman Roofing today at 614-NEW-ROOF or visit us online at newmanroofing.com. Don't just get a new roof, get a Newman roof.
Spring forward, Columbus, with the Waterworks and Header Heating and Cooling Services. We're here to thaw you out with this limited time offer. Get up to $2,000 off a new complete furnace and AC system. This offer is too good to pass up. The Waterworks and Header Heating and Cooling now together to serve you better with $2,000 off a new complete furnace and AC system. This offer won't last. Call us today, 614-232-2222. That's 614-232-2222.
Need inspiration? Shop Kroger for mouth-watering meals and appetizing ingredients. Our low prices add up to big savings, plus over $600 in digital coupons each week, and up to $1 off per gallon at the pump. At Kroger, you always get big flavors and big savings. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
Right now, Kroger brand bone-in hickory smoked spiral ham is only 79 cents a pound with your card, an additional $25 purchase. Limit 2. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
It's always hockey o'clock. This is the Inside Edge.
Sponsored by Visit Central Florida.
Here's Bob McElligott and Jody Shelley.
Talking with Jed Greaves, Blue Jackets goaltender, coming off a shutout last night against the Philadelphia Flyers. You've been in this situation before in this organization. You've been called up at different times, asked to come in and fill in and do your job, and you've always done it. And I know you've got a contract for next year, so that's all good. You don't have to worry about any of that stuff. But are there any times here in the last couple of years where you start to wonder, when do I get my break? When do I get a bigger chance? Or is it just go back to what you said earlier? Your feet are on the ground somewhere and you're playing hockey.
Yeah, I think for me, I enjoy wherever I am. When I'm in Cleveland, I have a lot of fun there. I've made a lot of really good relationships and had so much fun playing hockey there. So I enjoy it so much there. And obviously when I'm here, it's a lot of fun to be with these guys and, playing at this level and trying to win here. So I think for me, it's just, like I always say, just being where my feet are and enjoying that. And I feel like just trusting in God's plan for me and his timing, I think has always been super important.
I heard Aaron Portzline of The Athletic talking to Adam Fantilli this morning, and one of his questions was, is Jet Greaves the most un-goalie-like goalie that you've ever met? And Adam only thought for a second. He said, well, he's one of them. And it's funny because goalies kind of get this reputation, I guess is a word that I'll use, that you're a little different. Like, first of all, you choose to play a position where guys are going to shoot a hard rubber object at over 100 miles an hour at you, and you got to take it off the body. So that's a little bit strange to begin with. When my son played, I always wondered why that. Of course, it's the pads, right?
No.
It's designing the pads. That's what it always was with you.
No, I don't know if it was the pads for me. There were definitely a few factors in play, though.
Yeah? What were they?
One of them was, my dad he started playing goalie when he was 33, so I think that was when I was like 2 or 3, so I kind of started paying attention, and I was just telling the story today. I always tell this. My brother's 2 years younger than me, so him and I would always play mini sticks growing up, watching the World Juniors. And I remember, I think it was 2007 World Juniors, Carey Price was the goalie for Team Canada, and they did a little feature on him like before the gold medal game, like I think it was in Sweden or something like that, walking through, and I remember just watching how he carried himself, and I thought it was so cool. And then they played that gold medal game. He was amazing. They wanted a shootout, and I was always just playing goalie and mini sticks after that, just begging my parents to let me be goalie.
So, and was that, how much did you have to sell it?
I didn't. They were all right with me playing goalie. My dad wanted me to, to wait a while before. He wanted me to wait, I think, until I was 10 to kind of learn how to skate, learn the game more, which is totally fair. But I was just begging, and then right before, like, the first year of, like, rep tryouts, I think when I was, like, 7, one of my best buddies at the time, still one of my best buddies to this day, Luke Fanjoy is his name, he was our goalie, and then he would decide he wanted to play defense right before the tryouts, and I was playing defense, and I was like, come on, let me play goalie. So that was, my dad, finally let me play, and yeah, I was the only goalie at the tryouts, so it worked out.
Pretty good chance to make the team.
Yeah.
Hey, you said something there that I would like for you to expand on, because I think people sitting in the stands can get the impression that, well, the goalie doesn't have to skate for distance, so skating, might not understand how important skating is in your position. But it's extremely important because of the movements, the quick movements. How much did you work on your skating, and why is it so important to be a good skater as a goalie?
Yeah, I mean, I think for why is it so important, I think, as the game evolves, like, I think it's more important now than ever, and I think it's going to continue to trend that way. I mean, there's so much east-west in the game today. The players are so skilled. They skate so fast, move the puck so well, so as a goalie, you have to be able to skate well just to stay in position and be able to react. When your brain reads a play, your body has to be able to react and put you in position and make those saves. So I think skating is probably the most important part of goaltending. Definitely one of them. And then for myself, I think growing up, my dad definitely harped that a lot. Even when he let me play goalie, he was still like making sure I was learning how to skate, in the crease and out of the crease as well. We had a rink in our backyard growing up that he would build every winter, so I would just spend so much time out there, and he would do like different skating drills with me, and we just spend so much time doing that. And even now, like with Nick, there's so much emphasis on that as well, and always just making sure the skating's sharp, because it's such an important part of the position.
It's got to be great for both you and your father that now here you are playing at this level and playing the way that you are, and knowing that all those little backyard rink instructions and practices have really paid off. And how much has that helped you to have a really good bond with your dad?
Yeah, it's been awesome. We've had a really good relationship. He's done so much. Both of my parents, him and my mom, have done so much for my brother and I growing up. I mean, they gave us every opportunity and supported us so much. So it's fun to have that and share these experiences with them. And I still call them for advice on different situations all the time now. So it's still just kind of leaning on them as my parents.
One of the things when people are looking at you, and I'm talking about outside people, they'll say, well, you look small, okay? There's nothing you can do. Your size is what your size is. But you make up for it with your athleticism and your quickness. And how important has that been for you? Because I'm sure even coming up, there were people that were wondering if you were going to be too small to play the position. How much have you stressed just doing the things that you have to do and doing them well, so that's an absolute non-factor?
Yeah, I mean, people ask me about that, but it's honestly not really something that I'm thinking about too much. For me, my perspective has always just been, what can I do to be the best goalie I can be and to help my team win as many hockey games as possible. So I think it's the same situation as it would be for anybody else, just trying to understand the game as best as I can, prepare my body, prepare my mind, and just prepare my game to be able to handle any situation that comes has always been my perspective.
Look, I know this is going to happen because it happens all the time, but so far in these games, you haven't scrambled a lot. I mean, you always seem to be in position and square to shots. How difficult is it to make sure that you are square to shots, especially in this league? They're coming from all different angles. You're facing the best shooters in the world here. How do you get yourself into that position so frequently that you're not creating bad rebounds and you're not scrambling for pucks and you're staying on your skates, all those things?
I think, first of all, a big part of that is a testament to the guys in front of me. I think they've done a really good job just defending well and, clearing out lanes and clearing out secondary plays, so that my job has definitely been simpler. I think for myself, I think it's just about understanding the play and seeing the ice as well as you can. And like you said before, relying on that skating and just trying to be as in position as possible. And I think that just helps to make the game a lot simpler.
Talk with goaltender Jet Greaves of the Blue Jackets. I love to talk about your glove hand. And I love to say, you played shortstop growing up, and that's why you have a good glove. And then somebody says to me, well, okay, so if a European goalie doesn't play baseball, what are you saying? They just can't catch at all? And I say, well, some of them I've seen can't, but or they struggle with it. Look, and I'm joking. You're exceptional with it.
Thank you.
Has that just always been the case for you?
Yeah, I've always been comfortable, in that aspect of the game. I think, like you said, I was playing a lot of baseball growing up. So, in the winter we were playing hockey, and in the summer it was just time to play baseball, put on the gloves. So obviously you're spending a lot of time throwing and catching. So I think it becomes a little bit of second nature just to, catch pucks. Or in baseball you're catching the ball, and in hockey you're catching pucks. And I think now it's a nice advantage to have when you can freeze the play and get whistles. I think that can help control the flow of the game and help the team.
I think one that stands out to me is that you're very, very smooth with it. And as a baseball player, it's not a big deal. Reaching across the body and making the catch with a glove basically on your blocker side. And you'll do that sometimes, especially when you're looking to shut down a play, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's just, I think as often as you can get whistles, I think it helps the team, especially when they have an offensive zone shift where they're spending some time and, guys might be tired. And it's obviously tough on the defensemen and the forwards when we're in our zone for a while. So I think anytime you can get a whistle, it definitely helps the guys out.
My favorite save you made last night in Philly was Travis Konecny. And he comes in, he's in the right wing circle, he's got nobody in front of him, he tries to go high glove on you, and you were just like, I remember when Barry Bonds used to catch balls in the outfield and kind of snap the glove. and that save that you made, that was one of those, like, thank you very much. I appreciate that. And I said on the air, apparently he didn't look at the scouting reports. But are you baiting him at all on that, the way you're approaching it?
No, I don't think so. I think I'm just trying to play, every puck straight up, just be on as good of an angle as I can be, and just, react to what happens in front of me. In the moment, you're just playing, just trying to keep it out of the net.
Who are you hanging out with here? You're in the hotel while you're here now. So who are the guys you're hanging with when you have a little bit of downtime?
A lot of the guys, Christy and KJ have been, really close friends of mine for a long time. Obviously, Christy and I were in Cleveland for a while, forever, so we've spent some time together. Christy, KJ, Silly Fans, all the younger guys definitely spending a lot of time together. Dents, all those guys.
All right, so who's watching the game together tonight?
You know what? I don't have any plans for that yet. So how much
might just be in the hotel watching.
Yeah, maybe we'll see.
Well, who knows? Well, Jet, I'll tell you what, it has absolutely been a pleasure. It's always great to have you here. Every time you come here, I tell you the same thing. I'll tell you right now on the record, it's great to have you here. The way you've been playing is incredible. I love what all of you guys are doing to keep yourselves in this race. I hope that tomorrow morning you're coming in ready for a win and you're in type of game at Nationwide Arena. And the biggest compliment I want to give you is that we started this interview and Jet's in a chair that has wheels on it. And he said, you shouldn't have given me a rolly chair because I'm going to enjoy this too much. You stayed close to the microphone the whole time, my friend, and you've done a great job with it. This guy can do anything. See, it helps him move around, just like playing goal. You move around to the crease the whole time. You got to move around during the interview and made you comfortable, right?
Perfect.
All right. Jet, thank you so much, and good luck tomorrow.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, that is Jet Greaves, Blue Jackets goaltender. I'll be back with Jody Shelley to wrap up this week's edition of the Inside Edge, presented by First Merchants Bank here on 97.1 The Fan.
We're known for three things: games, conversation, and common man yelling about things only he cares about. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
If you're 55 and up, T-Mobile has plans built just for you. 2 lines of unlimited for just $30 a line. That's a 45% savings compared to Verizon and AT&T. But don't just take our word for it.
It's not just the savings that are great with our T-Mobile plan. There's all this value from all these other things that T-Mobile offers.
T-Mobile has been such a savings for us.
We love it.
Switch today and get 2 free 5G phones like the Motorola Edge with Turbo Power charging that gives you power for the day in just 15 minutes. And customers 55 and up can get 2 lines of talk, text, and data for only $30 a line. Go to T-Mobile.com/choice55 to learn more. With 24 monthly bill credits and 2 new lines with autopay for well-qualified customers plus taxes, fees, and $35 per line connection charge. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. Contact us plus $5 per line without autopay. Debit or bank account required. 45% off 2 lines versus AT&T Starter and Verizon Welcome. Plan benefits vary. See details at T-Mobile.com. Motorola Edge requires 68-watt charger. Charger sold separately. Actual performance will vary based on usage and configuration.
I think one of the things that patients don't realize is that when they get a joint replacement, that's not a lifetime treatment option. And they're probably, if they are a younger patient, signing up for multiple surgeries down the road.
As a physician and medical director for QC Kinetics, Dr. Caravelli's seen a pattern of trending joint pain. Prolonged medication, steroids, then surgery, possibly another surgery.
So a lot of our patients are trying to avoid or put off surgery, and this is the treatment that can help them do that.
QC Kinetics extracts your body's healing substances, concentrates them back into your aching joints to help heal and restore those areas, providing lasting relief.
Oh, I love being able to tell my patients, before we do this surgery, let's try another option. Let's see if this is right for you, because now they might not have to have surgery at all.
Call today for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 380-208-4544. That's 380-208-4544. 380-208-4544.
After an audit of our programming, the suits here at The Fan decided we needed more baseball. And that common man is stupid. Good news. We fixed one of those problems. Catch the Reds on The Fan all season long. Yay, baseball.
Let's talk interest rates. Not that kind of interest. I mean interest in you. At First Merchants Bank, we are 100% interested in your success. Our bankers provide a level of attentiveness unlike any other. We're here to get to know you and to be a helpful partner in your financial success. Aren't you tired of your bank just saying they care about your business? Make the switch to First Merchants Bank and feel the difference of real, honest interest in you. First Merchants Bank. For a better banking experience, visit firstmerchants.com/switch, helping you prosper.
Need to tackle your next big project? Choose Ohio Cat for unbeatable construction equipment. From bulldozers to excavators, Ohio Cat delivers power, precision, and performance with the quality you expect. And with our one-stop rental shop, you get top-notch equipment with a long-term commitment. Whether it's a quick job or a major build, if you need it, Ohio Cat rents it. Visit ohiocat.com to explore our equipment options and make your next project a success. Ohio Cat, proud partner of the Columbus Blue Jackets.
Getting started in hockey has never been easier. The Blue Jackets Learn to Play program, presented by Performance Columbus in association with Moo Express Car Wash and Kroger, is an introductory ice hockey program for boys and girls ages 4 to 10. Classes are held year-round at the Ohio Health Chiller Ice Rinks. Registration includes age-appropriate instruction and head-to-toe equipment, yours to keep. Hockey starts here at bluejackets.com/learn-to-play.
Let's talk interest rates. Not that kind of interest. I mean interest in you. At First Merchants Bank, we are 100% interested in your success. Our bankers provide a level of attentiveness unlike any other. We're here to get to know you and to be a helpful partner in your financial success. Aren't you tired of your bank just saying they care about your business? Make the switch to First Merchants Bank and feel the difference of real, honest interest in you. First Merchants Bank. For a better banking experience, visit firstmerchants.com/switch, helping you prosper.
You're listening to The Inside Edge.
Sponsored by Visit Central Florida.
Here's Bob McElligott and Jody Shelley.
Welcome back to The Inside Edge, presented by First Merchants Bank. Getting ready to wrap up this week's show. Jody, you said earlier in the show how you were in Montreal for that game against Chicago on Monday. You saw the NHL debut of Ivan Demidov, who was the, 5th overall pick this past summer by the Montreal Canadiens. Played in the KHL, finished his season over there, comes over. Another guy that comes over early, just like Matvei Michkov, who played for Philadelphia last night. People thought it was going to be a 3-year process. He played. He assisted on the first goal. He scored his first goal to make it 2-0 Montreal. And, boy, the people there were pretty excited about his debut, weren't they?
Oh, I've never seen anything quite like that in my life. I mean, apparently his flight from Russia when it left Istanbul was the most tracked flight in the world that day. The fans have anticipated this kid all season long. I was kind of made aware of the hype, and then I witnessed it. And when he came out for his rookie lap, first they let the Chicago player Green do his rookie lap.
Mm-hmm.
Boo. And then all of a sudden the camera showed him walking out towards the ice, and the place went bananas. And he took his rookie lap. Every time he took a shot in warm-up, and then they showed him on the bench. Cheers, cheers, cheers. His second shift gets an assist. Incredible assist. The place went crazy. And then every time he was on the ice, you knew it. You didn't even have to look down because everyone cheered when he was out there. He scores a goal like his fifth. He had 5 shifts in the first period, scored a goal and an assist. Collected 2 pucks. And it was, the kid he's a good player. He's 19 years old. When he gets the puck, it's almost like he feels like he absorbs the puck 2 feet before it's on his stick. Like he's already got everyone at a complete attention, and I was surprised they left him on the third line. I think tonight he's playing with Patrick Laine, which to me, I don't know. I mean, that's a gamble. Mm-hmm. Laine defensively is not good. Then this is a rookie kid from Russia. But we'll see. I mean, he's a huge game breaker out there. But it was incredible to see someone with that much popularity and that much anticipation and deliver like he did.
Yeah, and he did deliver, as you said. But then I was thinking about it, like we always talk about chemistry at this time of the year, right? And I know it's a really skilled player that you're putting in there, but how does it affect that aspect of what goes on?
For me, his ideal player to play with would be Suzuki and then Caulfield.
Mm-hmm.
Shooter and Caulfield, reliable player in Suzuki. But they don't want to break up that top line. So I don't think there's a chemistry. He got Newhook a goal. I mean, Newhook was a winger, second line, third line player. I mean, he just put it in a spot and waited for Newhook to get there. And so he makes everybody better. Look for him and Hudson maybe to connect tonight. He's starting to learn his options, but, I don't think it's a problem.
Cool situation last night where the Minnesota Wild get into overtime. They clinch a playoff spot when they get there, so they change goalies and put Marc-Andre Fleury in the game for his final regular season game. Look, the guy's an absolute class act. He's represented the league and himself and whatever team he's played for so very well. But I thought that was a really good move by John Hines to get him in there.
Yeah, absolutely. What a year in the NHL for these players we've watched for so long. Ovechkin, Fleury. You see Matt Martin for the Islanders. Yep. He's going to retire. I love how the guys are vocal about it. Darren Pang has retired 2 guys in his interviews. Martinez and Maroon. And now the players are starting to say to Panger, hey, you stay away from me.
Right.
Savard's going to retire. David Savard took a picture with Nick Foligno in warm-up on Monday night, and we were wondering what that was about, but confirmed after the game that he is going to retire. And that's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a good player in David Savard.
Yeah, very good player.
And you can see why they kept him at the deadline. I mean, they could have done... And that's something about Montreal. Suzuki went to the management and said, keep us together, and the management said, you show us before the deadline you're meant to be together. And they delivered. So, they've had some special moments. But, the Fleury thing, I mean, you're right. From the moment he came in, and I've only had small interactions with him, but, boy, he's a joy to be around.
He is. And I remember when he first got drafted and he was in the American Hockey League and Michel Therrien was not playing him in Wilkes-Barre. He was giving them the hard life lessons on what it took. And eventually the Penguins got tired of that, and they said, you know what, we're done with that.
Yeah.
He's going to play, and then, oh, by the way, we're going to call him up. But you're right. I remember my first year here, my son loved him. He was a goalie, and first time Pittsburgh came here, when he was coming off the ice, he stopped and he talked to him for 2 minutes. But for an 8 or 9-year-old, whatever he was at the time, that 2 minutes is a lifetime.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you never get to meet your heroes. And when you do, when they take the time to engage with you, it's they get it. You know, I think a lot of the guys in the hockey, in NHL and hockey in general, they get it. And the level of appreciation that he's played with and the smile and the way he's played the game, it's just he's been a character of the game.
Yes, he has been. You know, it's funny, too, is that you say a lot of these guys that we've seen for a long time, and the changing of the guard is coming.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, you can't stop it. Now, that being said, Ovechkin is the all-time goals leader. Sidney Crosby just went 20 consecutive years as a point-per-game player. That's another Gretzky record that got broken that they don't talk about it as much, and rightfully so, with the goal record. But, I mean, these guys continue to play well, but it's coming. And it's weird when you've been around so long where you see the legends getting to retirement, isn't it?
It is, yeah. And it's good for these young guys. Like, you look at Chicago, you know, and seeing them play against Montreal the other night, look out. They've got a lot of really good young pieces, and they've been in situations where, okay, Ovechkin's goal chase. This is a team that's been out of the playoffs for months, but they were a part of that when Ovechkin was trying to get it done. The spectacle around that, the fanfare. The other night with Demidov in Montreal, a team that's trying to clinch the playoff spot, you know, that atmosphere there. There's a lot of valuable things, and to play against these players and be around them, and you hear the young players now talking about who their idols are and were. Patrick Kane's another one, been around forever. What's he going to do next season? You know, you can see the admiration in the young players' eyes, and you're right. I think that's important to carry on what they brought and what they've instilled in the game.
Yeah, the guys that I still look at as young players are now retiring. That's I'd say about
their
me.
Kids are playing.
That's right.
Jake Sanderson.
I was just going to say Jake. Yeah, and I mean, and Jake not just playing. I mean, I mean, top guy on the blue line for the Ottawa Senators, a guy that you saw play in that Four Nations Championship game alongside of Zach Werenski.
Yeah.
So these guys are coming in. You know, this is something. I got about 2 minutes here, but I want to ask you this. I was talking to somebody a couple of weeks ago. Maybe it was Aaron Portzline from The Athletic. We were talking about guys that were great NHL players or even good NHL players, how often you see their kids coming and making the league. Cole Sillinger being a great example here. And in other sports, you don't see that nearly as much, but in hockey, you see it a lot. I wonder why that is.
I think it's a lifestyle. You know, I think that when you enroll in sports, whether, you know, whatever sport you're playing, there's a lifestyle element to the sport where when you go home from the rink and you're in the National Hockey League, everything you do is immersed in that lifestyle. You know, what your off season is, where you live, what you do in the summer, where you're going to go to school, the friends you have, how you interact in the community. You kind of pick that up as you're around your father or your parents, and it's kind of what you're brought up in. I watched Derek Dorsett here with his young boy, and always at the rink. You know, everything is hockey. He meets his heroes. He has his childhood dreams. I think that's where it's cultivated to have that dream, and then, you know, maybe there is an inside track to make it a reality.
Yeah, they're good gene pool.
Yeah, that too. Good moms.
Right. No question. Well, here's a question. What are we going to be doing beyond today? Tonight, maybe it gets answered. Hopefully, it's not going to be answered until tomorrow. But I can tell you, we're either going to be doing a playoff preview show on Friday, or we're going to do this show to wrap up the season next week. And I really hope it's the former and not the latter.
Yeah, well, let's see. Let's see what happens. And I'm a good vibe only guy, and I think that Thursday night's going to be rocking at Nationwide Arena because the Blue Jackets will have a chance to get into the playoffs.
I think it will be,
and look out if they do,
a magnificent atmosphere.
The Capitals, all right, they've had a good regular season. They were the last team in the playoffs last year. Guess what? Put the Blue Jackets in that situation, and I would not want to play the Blue Jackets.
No, I wouldn't want to either, especially when I'm a Capitals team that's focused so much on Ovechkin's chase, and they're looking to find their focus again. We just saw that last weekend, so we'll see what happens. But the Blue Jackets do play tomorrow against the Islanders. 7 o'clock start. Pregame coverage starts at 6:30 tomorrow right here on The Fan. Thanks to Jet Greaves for being a part of the show tonight. For Jody Shelley, I'm Bob McElligott saying so long, and thanks for listening to the Inside Edge, presented by First Merchants Bank on 97.1 The Fan.
The Fan Guest Hotline is sponsored by Carpenter Heating, Cooling, Plumbing, and Electric, and Bryant, doing whatever it takes to keep your home comfortable. The Fan.
Hey, it's Anthony. Of course, I sit and do the show 3 hours a day. But after that, I'm looking to get things done, enjoy the spring weather. So I want to be on my feet a lot, playing golf, working out, just moving around. I was introduced to the Good Feet store because my feet were aching way too often. And what I found there is a 3-step custom arch support system that has me feeling awesome. My personally fit arch supports have helped realign my feet, reposition my body into a more ideal position, and not only that, strengthen my feet to help support me. It's made all the difference in how I feel every day. The Good Feet store is going to help you where you need relief and find the arch supports that work best for you. And when you wear them as a system, their arch supports are more effective at long-term pain reduction and elimination. So go in, take the free test walk. Good Feet arch supports are immediately available. Their products are proudly made in the USA. They're on Polaris Parkway and on Stringtown Road in Grove City, or at goodfeet.com.
When your sump pump is no longer sumping and pumping, please don't become a sump pump grump.
A sump pump grump thinks whacking the pump will make it start working again.
But it never does.
Get Eco.
ECO. A sump pump grump will let a faulty sump pump completely ruin a perfectly good day.
Fortunately, I've invented a solution.
No more sump pump grump?
No more sump pump grump.
Get Eco.
ECO. Tell me about it, Jerry.
The solution is that you get Eco to do a sump pump inspection.
What would that include?
We check your pump, your battery backup, and all the downspouts and drains along the way to make sure everything is running clear.
How much?
That's up to you, Aaron.
Jerry, Eco would be happy to do that for just $89.
That's a great price.
Get Eco.
ECO. Eco plumbers, electricians, and HVAC technicians.
Go to geteco.com.
At Metal Supermarkets, we're all about getting you and your crew to quit in time sooner. That's why our service is a cut above. You see, no matter the project, we'll get you to the right metal, shape, and grade. Cut to any size, ready real fast. And yeah, we'll deliver, leaving plenty of time for the important things, like opening an ice-cold can of aluminum. Metal Supermarkets, the convenience store for metal.
Save big money on your next project now at Menards. Menards is the leading supplier of quality roof and floor trusses. Choose from our large selection of residential and post-frame trusses or design custom trusses specifically for your project. Get started on your building project today in store or on Menards.com. Plus, view our weekly flyer for all the great deals happening now.
Save